Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the Pick and Roll Podcast, episode number 87. I'm here with my guys, Coach Ed Gladney, Blaze Radio, and Rios from the Just Fans Podcast. How's everyone doing?
Fantastic.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mitchkowski. Happy birthday to you. You're dirty 30, brother. You're old.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be 30. You know what's funny?
See, Blaze. Now you're gonna make me have to top you.
I was going to do that with you, Coach. You know, we could do. You know, you take. Oh, I'll take the higher opposite. We could do a little.
No, you did well.
Here's the funniest thing, though.
I just
Here's
want
the
to get it
funniest
over
thing.
quick.
All my friend called me like around 10 in the morning. He was like, Mitch, I'm on Amazon right now. I'm like, why are you on Amazon? I'm looking for something for your birthday. I'm like, oh, what is it? A cane. Here you go. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
So you
mad.
get your birthday present from me in the mail. I got a hold of Earl, got your address, and I got a bunch of Tobias Harris, Kyle Lowry, and Orange Cassidy cards I'm sending your way. So.
Oh, that happens. If that happens, I got to do a box opening. So
Yes, you can-
probably
you
for
can-
like
and
Okay,
rip them
well.
up on the screen. Yeah, I see.
and I'll be like, oh, look, here's yeah. Yeah. All right. How you doing, Nikki? How you doing? Okay.
You're doing good. I still want that jersey, and I want the red one that you have, Mitch, of the old Sixers jersey too. The one you're holding up on some of your posters. That's one of my favorite jerseys.
Oh, that's my first ever jersey that I had.
I have
it
the
was
black Iverson like that, but you have a red one, or was it blue?
Blue.
Okay, that's why I want your blue one and his red one because I have a blue Sixers.
Yeah.
Dr. J.
Yeah, and I also got a Paul George shirt. You know, that jersey shirt thing. I just got that 2 days ago. So, how you doing, Nikki?
Been doing swell. Happy to be here. As always.
There you go. There you go. So let's start off with Nikki on this one. Winner or losers of this offseason for the Western Conference, because last week we did 3 Easterns. Let's do 3 Westerns. So winners or losers, 3 teams, Nikki.
Losers, obviously the Lakers, because the Lakers are always going to have that chip to be in contention because they're in the big, huge market city of LA. There's always going to be that chip on their shoulder that, hey, you're the Lakers. You're one of the biggest draws in professional sports. You should be in championship contention. It's in the league's best interest and in the sports world's best interest. And they didn't do anything to get me, besides having LeBron and AD, and hoping both those guys make it through a full season. What is there for the Lakers that indicates this team could contend? I mean, the biggest story is Bronny, who at this point is looking more like a bust and is only where he's at because of his name. Yeah, that's not a win for the Lakers for a team that's expected to consistently contend. And I look at winners, got to say the Mavericks, they're a winner because they're a team that, hey, they were pretty close. They added a number 3 piece. Klay Thompson, who's taking a step back. You already got the best current backcourt in the NBA as your 1 and 2 guys, Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving. And hey, you're just adding a piece from last year when you were close. And hopefully that could make a difference for them this time around. And there's no guarantee that it's actually going to work out in their favor. None. Because it's a tough conference.
Yep.
And then for losers, the Clippers. You lost Paul George. Don't know what you got Kawhi. Outside of that, what do you really got? I mean, Russell Westbrook was one of the better players on your team, but now he's on Denver. So, I mean, even at that stage of his career, Russ was still one of the better players, and he's gone. So you lost 2 of your main players. I mean, you got Zubac back, which we'll talk about later, which he is one of the better centers. Not a top tier, but he's still one of the better centers. He's still a solid piece for what he is. But looking at Zubac, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and
that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Not a winning formula.
All right, let's go to Blaze.
Right, you know Benedict Harden isn't getting any younger, so.
Yep.
No,
all right, Blaze.
Don't go to me yet.
Huh?
Don't go to me yet.
Okay. Rios?
So we'll do a little bit of a combo of winners and losers. So
Yeah.
as far as losers, both the Western Conference teams. I mean, both the LA teams, the Lakers and
Yeah.
the Clippers. Even with the Lakers, like, Nikki hit the nail on the head. They didn't address any of their needs as far as, strengthening the roster. I mean, their biggest acquisition was, their second-round pick in LeBron's son. I mean, that's not really moving the needle. And that was it. Like, they have some holes in that roster. It's an aging roster, injury-prone roster. They have holes. They address none of them. They're, again, counting on, LeBron who's entering, his age 40 season, and Anthony Davis, who struggled with injuries throughout his career, to play fully healthy the whole year. And it's a big risk. And if either one goes down, I mean, their season's pretty much done, especially in a stacked Western Conference. Same thing with the Clippers. They didn't really add any pieces outside of Zubac. But other than that, it's a weaker roster. As far as winners, I hate saying it, but the Mavericks.
I thought you were going to say Spurs.
No Spurs? Come on, man.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I wouldn't really call adding an aging CP3 as, making them a big winner. It helps, but it doesn't really move the needle like Klay Thompson to the Mavericks, because he brings that veteran leadership, championship pedigree, sharpshooting ability, and, defense when you need him to step up. It definitely, you guys have mentioned one of the best backcourts in basketball. So all they did was just get stronger, and they were on the cusp of winning it last year. So we'll see how this season goes out for them. And another winner might be a little bit biased, but I'm going to go with Houston.
Yeah.
The reason I go with Houston is twofold. One, not trading for Mikal Bridges, because that would have cost 4 first-round picks, a couple of players, and he doesn't warrant that type of haul. But also not signing Sengun or Jalen Green to max contracts just yet, because it gives him flexibility going into the 2025 offseason, when there's going to be a lot of big-name free agents out there, and they have the flexibility, at least, like, hey, you know what? If one of these dudes doesn't pan out, we still have the cap space to sign, a bigger fish.
Okay. Coach.
Losers. Clippers.
Yep.
Golden State Warriors.
I was going to say that in mine.
Denver Nuggets. Denver
I
Nuggets
could see that.
losing with Caldwell Pope. Yes.
Caldwell Pope. Yep.
And they keep losing pieces every year. Golden State. Look, Klay, even if in his declining years, Klay was still serviceable, and I get the money aspect, but still, he was Golden State. Period. Case closed. Clippers, you lost Paul George, one of your key components, no matter what. That's why I went with those threes. Winners, Memphis Grizzlies.
Yep.
All I have to say is John Morant. You're getting him back. I hate to say it. Oklahoma City. It's not just Hartenstein, but the pickup of Caruso. That's a very good one. So I definitely like that one. And I was battling between the Pelicans and the Kings, and I just decided to go with the Pelicans because other than a big man, they got 4 players in their starting lineup that can rival just about any team in the league, to be honest with you. And I am intrigued to see and develop and work together as a team.
All right. Blaze, or do you want me to go?
Yeah, I'm good. Losers is easy. I mean, you guys have covered it. Lakers, Clippers, Warriors. I mean, they didn't really do much to improve where they're at. I might even throw the Blazers in there too. But Lakers, Clippers, Warriors, you guys covered that. They are the ones that and I'm doing this on off-season moves, what they gained, what they lost, who they drafted, just like last week. For the winners, I got the Mavericks. They got Dinwiddie, Grimes, and Klay, and they were, very good last year. So they didn't really lose a ton, but they added maybe pieces that might put them over the hump. We might see them back where they were again. I am going to go with the Kings. I like what the Kings had already, but DeRozan and McDaniels, if they can both fit in well, and that's the big question. Just like last week I said with the Sixers, the Knicks, all these teams that have added and reduced, it's all about whether these pieces gel well with their team, number one for me. But DeRozan and McDaniels, I mean, I've said this time and time again on this podcast, you see players go to a different system, different coach, and they could be rejuvenated. We could see DeRozan do even better. I mean, he could fit very well with that team, and they already have some stars in there. And I'm a big Malik Monk fan as well, so the Kings could do some damage. And it's the Thunder on top, man. They're small pieces that they added, but they were already the best team in the West in the regular season. To add Hartenstein, Caruso, I definitely would put teams like the Grizzlies and Pelicans up there too, and that's the Zion and Ja experience. If those two can come back and do what they're supposed to do, those teams are right back in it too, because those are polarizing individuals there. Those are players that, there are no others like those two in the game, and they haven't even reached half of their max capacity because of injuries and all kinds of stuff, and it's a shame, and I'm big fans of them. But I'd go Mavericks, Kings, and Thunder. And Nuggets not bad either. I mean, they didn't, like you're saying, they didn't really add a lot, but does Westbrook have anything in the tank? We don't know, but losers is easy. Lakers, Warriors, Clippers.
So I'm gonna start out with the winners on this one, because I got a losing team that you guys are not gonna expect. So for the winners, I'm going with the Mavericks, obviously, just for getting Clay. And Derek Lively, just to add to that, because his defense, when it comes to shot blocking, he's gonna go up. It's gonna go up from here. So that is 2 from Mavericks, Warriors, and for another winner, I'm gonna go Thunder. No, you know what? Just for real, I'm going Spurs. I'm going Spurs for my winners here, just for having Wembanyama and Chris. We all knew that Chris Paul was going to go to the Spurs. We all knew that because his career is winding down, and there's a generational talent in Victor Wembanyama over there that Chris Paul could. Can you imagine the alley-oops? Can you imagine the pick and rolls, the pick and pops, or whatever? I'm like, that is just a win in itself. Losers, I got the Clippers, Lakers. I got the Pelicans, just for the fact of the Brandon Ingram contract. What is going to happen with that? Are they going to try to trade him off during a trade deadline? Because nobody wanted him with the asking price of his. So what is next for that? DeJounte Murray, great pick. Great move. I love it. I love what they're doing here. It's just the contract going forward. I felt like if they could move that or something, that would have been something for me. It's just a contract for me. So Falcons are my losers on that one. So yeah. And then now, Blaze, you want to start off on this one? Sure. One thing that 3 teams should look forward to. What's their conference?
I'm putting people on the spot. The 3 teams that I just mentioned. The Lakers, Warriors, and Clippers. I mean, they have to do better. They didn't make a lot of moves, so they have to do something to try to keep them in it. The Warriors were the last team in the playoffs. The Lakers barely made it as well. So those teams are in trouble. I mean, the Clippers, they were 51-31. I mean, can they repeat that? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it seems like their project with those 4 didn't really work. Now they only got 2 of them. So it's like, how can that team – how I can't see that team improving. So look, for the up and up, I think – and it's weird. I got a weird feeling about the Suns. I mean, anytime you got KD on that team, could the Bradley Beal connection with those 2 be the Luka and Kyrie of last year? Remember, end of last year, we're like, Luka and Kyrie ain't working. It's not going to work. If they can get Beal to work out and a couple additions they had, I think the Suns could really make that leap up in. And then I'll pick one team that didn't make the playoffs that should make it this year, and that's the Rockets. I think that's Rios's Rockets. I think they proved last year they were surprised. They ended up at 500, where we didn't expect them to be anywhere near that. Now all their young talent now has another year of experience in the league and with each other. So I think we see that team gel and make the playoffs this year, and it could be Lakers or Warriors that fall out. You could say Lakers are looking forward to that one game because there's going to be one game that the Lakers have that everyone's going to be looking forward to, and that's the first time LeBron plays with his son. Let's be real. That's it. It's going to be, people are going to anticipate it. You know, if they know it. I don't know if it'll be the first game of the year though. Like, would they do something? Would they stage something weird and say, just for game one, he's going to start at point guard, LeBron, just so you got, because otherwise you're delaying it. Like, will he play? So I don't know. Will they do the big publicity stunt and advertise Bronny starting with Braun game one just for the sake of, you know, the ratings will be through the roof? Or will they keep you guessing and make you wait to see when Bronny final enters a game to play? Then they have that one moment, they're on the court, and then the team's going to suck anyway. So, I mean, but that is something that people are looking forward to. Let's be real. No one has ever played with their kid, like or hate LeBron. He's still one of the greatest. And it's something I never thought I'd see in the NBA. You know? NBA, because you're not there as long. And NFL now, even more. You'll never see that. Baseball, we've seen it with Griffey, you know, and other things. But that's maybe something some people are looking forward to.
Yeah, but Nikki, before you go, Rios, what do you think about going after Jimmy Butler and like free agency for your Rockets?
5 years too late. Should have came in 2019 when we still had Harden and Chris Paul before they got Westbrook.
All right, Nikki.
My teams, you got the Grizzlies because you got John Morant back. You're going to have to see what happens with your star back. You're hoping over the past year, he's humbled himself a little bit and he's come down from his crazy horse a little bit and, you know, is refocused on basketball. But either way, you know, if John Morant's on the court, you're getting your star player back, and this could be beneficial to the team. That's one team right there. Another team looking forward to see what they do is, well, the Rockets. What's going to happen now with these younger guys? Because the Warriors seem like they're most likely to fall off a bit out of the bunt. And, you know, the Clippers have gotten a little bit weaker. There's room for the Rockets to become stronger this season. We got like the Warriors, Lakers, the other one that seems weak, could be weaker. This could be their opportunity to at least sniff the playoffs and at least cement themselves as a potential force to be reckoned with in the future. Still a long way away, but we will see. Other team looking forward to are the Thunder. Will the new additions finally help them? Will it help them get back to championship contention? And will they live up to the hype this time? Because, you know, we all know there's always the hype going into it, but like the classic Public Enemy song says, don't believe the hype because don't always pan out. Not saying that the Thunder are going to bomb, but I'm just saying the point of that is wait to see what actually happens. Look, the Thunder got a lot of hype going into it. They're championship contenders. Now let's just see if it actually happens. So I'm looking forward to seeing if they live up to the hype.
Yep. All right, Earl, I appreciate that. Thank you. Rios.
I would say number one team to watch would be the Suns. If they come out slow out of the gate or they just, you know, completely collapse, those are a lot of, you know, big contracts. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the guys try to, you know, force their way out of there like KD. I don't think KD wants to go through another losing season, especially at his age. So he's one guy I wouldn't be surprised to try to force his way out and go to a contender. Yeah. Because you're going to have, you know, Bradley Beal making, what, $40 million coming off the bench as a six-man, possibly? Like, I don't know. It's a recipe for disaster right now in Phoenix. But another team to watch, I would say next would be that you guys brought up, the Thunder. They were the best team in basketball last year. They just, you know, I had a feeling they would fall apart in the playoffs just because they had experience. But now they have another year under their belts, another year with the same system, added some key pieces in the offseason. I'm curious to see how they, you know, if they take that next step and make it to like the Western Conference Finals. And then lastly, would be the Rockets. Like you guys have mentioned, like it's a lot of young players. They had no expectations last year and they ended up finishing 500. They had a real good chance of making the playoffs if Sengun doesn't go down. Because he went down in March and he was, you know, lost for the season. And they put up a little bit of a run, but you know, once you only have one person that's, you know, averaging over 20 points, you know, most defense is key on that one guy and kind of slowed them down towards the end of the season. So I'm curious to see how those two, you know, mesh together with a whole offseason of being a Coach Udoka system. And, you know, we'll see where they go. Like you guys mentioned, the Lakers and Warriors are falling off a little bit. there's a couple openings in the Western Conference. It's there for the taking.
Dude, just to piggyback off of that with Houston, and I'm looking at their roster, and I realize I don't know if there's any other team that has this many really good players, but who's going to step up and be the star? I mean, Şengün did it last year. If he can continue to do it, I mean, you got to watch out for Cam Whitmore. I really love his game. Reed Shepherd, Holiday, Green, Eason, Brooks, Adams, Van Fleet. I mean, they have a bunch of the good players. But and I think they could definitely make that leap into the playoffs. But like, I know maybe who Mitch was saying wasn't the right, but I wouldn't be surprised if they try to go get someone. But do they need a big name? Do you really need a superstar? Like, or is one of those players stepping up to be a superstar? That's the question.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that they didn't give a max contract to either Şengün or to Jalen Green, because they're both due for one. Because everyone from the draft class got their max extensions already. That were first round picks. They did it because they want to see those guys take the next step. If they can take the next step into stardom, then you know what, they will give them the max next year. But if they don't, they have the flexibility to go out there and get a bigger name.
I think that's like super smart to play. Like, we're about to talk about how teams are going out and paying ridiculous amount of money for these players. And then you've got a frugal team like Houston with all these stars. And it seems like they're just loading up to make a big move. Whether they do or not, they might not need to, is the point too. So that might be the most intriguing team in all of the West, in my opinion.
All right, Coach, who you got?
Oklahoma City can look forward to Hartenstein's high basketball IQ and how it helps to elevate those all around him. So they can definitely look forward to that and helping that team grow because they have a young team. San Antonio, CP3, while he may not have his game that he once had, he's an impactful leader.
Yep.
And that's something that he's going to teach Wembanyama. And he's going to teach him how he can have an impact, not also on the basketball court, but off the basketball court. Because remember, CP3 was also the union president. So he has immense leadership skills throughout his whole mantra. And he's going to help Wembanyama grow and learn what kind of impact that he can have off the court here in the United States, but internationally, and what he can do for other players in France, across Europe, to really grow their game. And he can become that kind of a leader. So that's something that the Spurs can look forward to, especially with CP3 there. And I'm going to be honest, the Lakers, with having Bronny there, it's a different dynamic. They can look forward to, it's a lot of people hate it, but that nepotism could be something that could possibly galvanize that team. There is that possibility. It could also help Bronny grow because you are literally playing, even if it starts in practice and doesn't really have a lot of results on the court, but teaching his son firsthand, live action, because that's the best way that any athlete grows, is actually playing the game. And you're actually playing and competing with your dad against other high-level players across the league. So it's going to teach Bronny how to really elevate his game. And that's what I really think that he really needs. I really think he needs playing with his dad, learning from his dad, also how to be a professional. So I think that's something that Bronny and the Lakers can look forward to. And if there's really any semblance of true talent there, I think playing with his dad will help bring it out. And we may end up being surprised and saying down the road, I'm not talking about this year, but in the future, that was a great move for the Lakers to end up getting Bronny James.
Yep.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Coach, because I mean we knock it because he didn't do good in USC. I mean, but we were talking about him with a heart problem not too long ago. And if there's any NBA player, new rookie, that is used to having the eyeballs on him, it's Bronny. Since he was a baby, high school, he's under that microscope. So the shock of the big stage might not affect him at all. And we might be talking about not a perennial all-star or a legend, but a good NBA player out of this kid. I mean, he has skills. He's been raised right. And what's LeBron had that a lot of NBA players really don't have? That work ethic and what he does at home and how he eats and takes control of his body. You don't think he taught Bronny that? So this kid could be in the league for 5-10 years as a decent player. So I'm glad you brought that up, Coach, because a lot of people are knocking it just because of the nepotism and because maybe USC wasn't the right college for him. Maybe they made a mistake putting him there. Maybe he should have went to a little school like Duquesne or something and he could have did better. That's near here nor there now. But don't discredit the fact that this kid has skills. He was raised right. He's used to the spotlight. He's in the biggest market there is. Coach could be spot on that one. I love that.
All right. So I guess it's my turn now. So for mine, honestly, I'm gonna go with the Spurs again. I cannot wait to see the leap of Victor Wembanyama. I mean, is this really gonna help? It's Chris Paul. How is he gonna help Wembanyama with this game? Are we gonna see any new additions to his game, any more than he already has in his repertoire? So I'm going with the Spurs there. The second one, Minnesota Timberwolves, just for the fact of Anthony Edwards and him coming off of Olympics. So for me, Minnesota Timberwolves is the growth of Anthony Edwards. And then 3, my last one. Gonna try to come up with something different here, but I don't think I can. So that would be the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm gonna go with the Memphis Grizzlies because of Zach Edey. I really think him and Ja can do something insane in that pick and roll. I'm not a big fan of his game. I am not. So maybe he'll prove me wrong. So that is for mine.
I like that, bro. And the Spurs aren't dealing with, now, I mean, throwing in they got Paul and Barnes, so they have experience.
Yeah.
Vassell, Keldon Johnson, they got a lot of young players too, Trey Jones. So it's not just like, Sochan too. I think Sochan has made a nice little jump and he can be even better. So, and he's had compliments now. It doesn't, we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I like those picks, Mitch.
Mitch, I want to ask you a question, all right? Because you said Anthony Edwards and his growth.
Mm-hmm.
But I question that because did he really grow? When you make the comment that you made about the past talent, and then to compound it, oh, you really didn't study those guys, you really didn't see them, but you made a comment like that. Are you really growing?
Maybe that.
Okay, what I meant for like his game. I meant for like his game aspect. Off the court, I'm like, it is what it is. And actually, what's his name? Rasheed
That
Wallace
becomes a distraction, Coach. It could be if that becomes a distraction and his attitude doesn't change and he keeps with that bullshit, it could affect him. So I see where Coach is coming from too. If his mentality doesn't change, he doesn't learn from what we talked about last week, it could affect it. So I see both sides of the coin. But you're right, Mitch. His game elevated too.
And actually, I think I just saw this on Twitter. I gotta find it again. Rasheed Wallace fires back at Anthony Edwards, so we got a response on a response.
You may hear more of that.
Saying he's saying that Anthony Edwards is not even better than Derek McKay. So he's like, who is this?
They're gonna throw shots back at him, of course, because
they're
gonna throw the "you never won a title like Barkley" and stuff. Hey, we'll see.
We'll see. But Nikki, you did bring this up earlier, and that was Zubac. So Clippers gave Zubac a 3 years, $58.6 million deal. Was that a good deal for Zubac or high overpaid, underpaid?
For the player, it's a good deal. now he's finally getting paid and he's getting a good NBA sized contract. Hey, take that contract, man, because he's making money he was never going to make overseas in the U.S. So I don't blame the player at all. Now for the Clippers, I mean, they kind of were tied because it's like, okay, he's one of our better players. We still have him around. Let's reward him to make him happy, to keep him around. But at the same time, what does that do for the rest of the team, though? But then again, what choice do the Clippers have? They screwed up the free agency. So now they're trying to give Zubac some financial compensation, be like, hey, please stay with us, type of deals, what it comes across as to me from their point of view.
Yep.
So it's
All right.
always good for the
Blade.
players, but you're at where you're at as a team. It's not going to do a whole lot to change in the short term.
Yep. Blade, how do you feel about this contract for Zubac?
Well, I just talked about it earlier. They had the four stars there, the four probably could be future Hall of Famers, all four of them. But now it's Harden and Leonard, Derek Jones, Terrence Mann, and Zubac at center. I'll say two things. Number one, Zubac's better earn that money. I mean, he's in the spotlight now once you get those contracts. And number two, maybe those four were – I'm just playing the other side of the coin. Maybe having all four of those stars was a mistake. Now that they just have Harden and Leonard, Zubac gets better, Jones gets better, Terrence Mann can complement it. They might be a better team this year than they were last year because they don't have all the garbage of wondering who gets the damn basketball. And, you know, maybe Kawhi and Harden by themselves might do better than I don't know. I'm just trying to look at it both sides. It's tough. The Clippers is a conundrum this year. They should be the Los Angeles Conundrums.
Yeah, appreciate that, NYG. Appreciate that, Ref. Thank you, everybody. Taco. Thank you, everyone, for birthday wishes. So, Coach, how do you feel about Zubac's contract?
For a center, he's only making a little over $19 million a year. I mean, Mitchell Robinson for the Knicks is 14-15. So I think it's a good deal for the market price for a center. I mean, you know, if you go and you look at the other centers across the league who pretty much do the same thing as him, I mean, what did what's his name who went to Miami get? I mean, what's he getting?
Oh, Adebayo?
No. They just Miami brought in what's that other European center they brought in?
Here, I'm looking it up right now. Give me a second. Yeah, it bothers me. I got you. Kelly Ware?
No, isn't it?
No, that's a rookie.
Nurk? Did they bring in Nurkic?
No.
They got
Why
Nikola
am I getting
Jovic,
like all these Xfinity ads?
Nikola Jovic.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Nikola
Oh,
Jovic. Okay. Not
isn't he a power
no,
forward?
Jovic.
Oh,
Yeah, he's 6'10" power forward. I'm sure he can
I
play.
thought he was a center.
No, it's positionless basketball.
Yeah, I'm sure he can
No.
play both
Yeah.
sometimes, depending on who they're up against. But yeah,
But my point being is, in terms of price value, they're pretty much the same, I guess.
yeah, he's making 2.5. Jokic.
Oh, okay. So then I thought he was making more than that.
Jovic. So hard. Why are you
Who's the
Nikola
limit?
Jovic and Jokic?
Wait a minute. It's the one who played for the Bulls, the starting center for the Bulls that I'm or last year he was with the Bulls. Who is that one from last
Drummond?
year? No, he was the starting center.
Vucevic.
Yes.
Okay.
Aren't they similar in terms of their games?
I think Zubac is better defensively, but yeah, around there.
So, and that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the market price for these centers. What I'm getting at is he's 19.4. So you're not
Who
over.
Zubac is 11.9. 11.7, 9.2 last year. That's what he averaged.
Well, Zubac now 3 years, 58.6. When you divide that by 3,
Oh, I was talking about points, not
yeah, no, I'm
years.
talking about
My
the
bad.
price value. Price value. I'm saying he's getting $19.4 million per year. So it's not like he's breaking the bank. That's why I'm saying it's like, okay, sounds like a good deal. I'm looking at it because I look at Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson is 14.50, and I think he's a little bit better. Now Mitchell is better on the defensive end, but Zubac is better on the offensive end. So that's why I'm like, okay, I get it. You're going to get more points from it. You guys in Philadelphia, look what you get with Embiid. How much are you paying for Embiid?
I'm looking it up right now, actually.
I think
Embiid is
like
getting
almost
4 years, 213 mil.
Vucevic in Chicago is making 20. He's at 20 million.
Exactly.
There you go.
So that's what I'm saying. The price value when they're all pretty much the same, they're not overpaying. So in that regard, hey, they paid market price, and for what he brings to the table, then it's a good deal. They didn't overpay. I mean, look at Hartenstein. Hartenstein's getting 20. What is he? 29. 3 years for 29. It was like 3 years, 80 something million.
3 years, 87 mil.
Yeah. So when I look at that, I'm like, okay, this guy's contract is not breaking the bank. It's a good deal.
Yeah.
So we may not like the Clippers, but if you strip it away, everything else away, and you look at the market, that's the first thing I look at when you look at these contracts. What is the market telling you? As fans, we don't really dive into that. We just, they're getting a boatload of money. He shouldn't be getting this, blah, blah, blah. Look at his talent. But I always say, look at the market. What does the market tell you? And the market says that's about it. He's a middle of the pack type of, he's not the same he used to be. Okay.
Yeah.
He's saying Vucevic.
He's saying Vucevic. He's saying Vucevic.
Chicago.
Vucevic. I see it there. Okay.
And with the centers, you're going to have the Jokic's and Embiid's up here, and Coach is right. Then you got everyone pretty much floating around around the same area. So, yeah, I mean, like I said too, if he works good with the Clippers, they could improve instead of losing 2 All-Stars and improve because they added good pieces instead of trying to load up on stars. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I've always been a fan of Zubac. I love his game, just in the paint, rebounding, defense. Typical center. I like it. He's got the 20th highest contract in the league. So it is what it is. They had to do it. They just couldn't afford to lose anyone else.
20th highest.
Yes.
This is 20th height. Is it for a center or for
a center? For a center.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right.
And we've seen the 2 teams that won the last championship, Celtics and Nuggets. They've had good, balanced, built teams, not necessarily let's get a whole bunch of all-stars like the Clippers tried. So who knows? I mean, I'm not saying the Clippers are going to win the chip or not.
Stewart, Vucevic, and Robinson are all tied ahead of Zubac via contract. So, yep. And then now, speaking of contracts, Steph Curry, 1 year, $62.6 million contract extension. It's actually kind of funny because people were he posted a picture on Instagram. He was collabing. It was a collab post with LeBron. And he took off Warriors off his Instagram bio. And then 2 days later, he gets this. So I'm just saying he was probably not happy the way things are going. He lost Clay. The Warriors are not going in the right direction. I mean, he's got a couple years left in his window. So I am not mad about Steph Curry and what he did. Like I said before, I'll say it again. They got to build around Steph Curry and Jonathan Kuminga. They should have really let go of Draymond Green. I know for the leadership in the locker room and stuff, but Andrew Wiggins is still there. So I'm like, it is what it is.
Clay was the better leader, I feel, at this point, but obviously he's no longer there.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't afford to pay him. they couldn't afford to pay Clay after the last performance he had, especially going goose egg in the last playoff game for them. So, or in the last game. So they're like, we don't want you. Steph Curry's still the best shooter of all time, arguably the best point guard of our time, if you want to go that far. But they couldn't let him go, so they gave him this contract, a 1-year extension. So, yes, our crew, Draymond ruins the vibes. Yep. So, Coach, how do you feel about Steph Curry getting this?
He deserves every daggone penny.
Yep.
Every last bit. I mean, there are very few players that I say deserves money like that, but based on and again, based on the league and the market price and the valuation that he brings to the league, he is a good person. You know, first and foremost, you don't have any issues from him off the court. He's well respected, you know, in the business world, you know, just in general, you know, you don't hear a lot of drama, you know, and then you go on the basketball court, you know, look, you know, the argument is, you know, in the Olympics, he should have been MVP. You know, we can all make the argument, but look at what he did in for the United States in the Olympics when it counted. When it counts, that man produces, and that's really what it's about. You know, when it's money time, he produces. Well, when it's money time, he produces. You better pay up. He deserves every daggone penny, and there's only a few players that I think in the league really honestly deserve that type of, in terms of value, in terms of the money being thrown around. You know, when you look at, you know, the way the contracts are, he deserves it.
Blaze.
Top 10 highest paid players in 24-25 season. Jaylen Brown, 49.2. Karl Anthony Towns, 49.2. Paul George, 49.2. Devin Booker, 49.2. Bradley Beal, 50.2. KD, 51. Embiid, 51.4. Jokic, 51.4. Kawhi, 52.3. Steph, if anyone's going to get this type of money, it's Steph. And he, like you guys said, he deserves it. He's earned it. The real question now is his run as a champion over, or can they build around him and get more success, or will he be on a team that it doesn't do that well the next couple of years? They locked him in for what, this year and next year, through next year. Yeah. If they fail and don't put players around him the next 2 years, he'll be a Laker after that year. There's so much talk of him and LeBron wanting to play at least a year together. If there's something that's going to get LeBron to play that one more year, it'll be his other boy will probably be drafted too. And having 1 year with Steph, part of me thinks it might happen. I mean, the numbers and the money would have to be right. That's the big question too, coming in. But if he's getting his bag now and he wants to take and play with LeBron for 1 year, I want to watch it. I want to see it. I want to see them play together.
I would want to watch it.
Yeah, he deserves.
Can it be for the Sixers, please?
Every penny. If you're gonna sit here and say pick one player in the NBA to pay the most and build a team around, it's Steph Curry. I mean, there's argument for a couple other ones that are younger, but I'm talking about what he's done already and what a legend he is. Most people's greatest shooter of all time. And give him the money and take the money. No problem.
All right, Nikki. How do you feel about Steph Curry's extension?
I mean, I know why the Warriors are doing it, because he's one of the all-time greats. He's their leader. He's their go-to guy. Hey, they feel if without him, what do they have? Look at 2019, 2020 when he was out with an injury for.
Right.
Yeah, it's my prime example. And now you're on the downswing. You know, you're going to need some younger players for the future. You need Steph Curry because of his shooting game and as someone who can be a mentor to your future players that might be there for the next 5+ years or so. You need him as that guy. And maybe if you do get that next superstar, just as he's on the way out, you can say, hey, our current superstar had the honor of playing under and learning from Steph Curry, which helped pave the way for our current guy. So that's another thing, too. Another reason I want to keep him.
Yep, I can agree to that. And another player who just got paid on the Indiana Pacers, a former Sixer, TJ McConnell, a 4 years, $45 million contract extension. The reason he got it is how he played in the playoffs for the Pacers in the last couple of games. He was stepping up, diving for loose balls. This guy was he just was a downright, what is that word? I'm thinking
No,
of.
NYG, I wasn't saying build around him at this age. I'm saying if you're going to pick one player to build around, obviously it would be Prime Curry. I'm not talking about building around him now.
Yeah, but TJ McConnell is just that dog, man. He just wants to play ball. He'll do anything at all costs to win a game. So
You all right? What happened?
Yes.
What I missed?
No, that's it.
ow, I'm like, okay. So Blaze, what do you have to say about TJ McConnell?
I like McConnell. And we're talking about the backup point guard for the Pacers. Obviously, Coach
That's
hates
why
the Pacers.
I get it now.
He hates the Pacers. We could talk about Tristan Newton, the fourth stringer on the Pacers, and he's going to hate it. So I get it. But TJ McConnell, a great piece. He did very well in the playoffs, like you said. I think he is a valuable player, role player, and also if he is pushed into the starting role, he could do that as well. So good to lock in those players. I still think the Pacers are missing a piece. As much as I love Tyrese Halliburton, it's up to him whether he's going to be that mega star or just stay where he is and be great. I don't think they can get any further how they're at.
You know who wanted TJ McConnell on his team? LeBron. LeBron wanted McConnell years ago. I forget when. Was he going back? I think he was going back to Cleveland. He wanted TJ McConnell as a backup point guard. Just throwing it out there.
Solid player.
Nikki.
What was that?
For TJ McConnell, how do you feel about his contract that he got?
And what was the contract again?
It was 4 years, $45 million contract extension.
I mean, let's see though. Is he going to actually be that next? Like, is he actually going to be one of those guys, or
It's only $11 million. He's a backup point guard.
Yeah.
like what's he gonna?
Yeah, it's a backup point guard, but he means a lot to every team that he's on. Of course, the Sixers, and now the Pacers. Look at him in that last game he had.
And the Pacers, I mean, they need that guy, obviously, that backup point guard.
Yep.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yep, I get you. Hey, yo, Coach, you there?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything to say, or do you just want to skip it?
No. I mean, I get it. You know, he is a feisty young player. If I was a coach, yes, I would want his type of character, his type of player on my team. You know, the type of guy that dives. So, and I get the value. I talked about it earlier. The value of the market price. You know, isn't he getting the market rate for the most part?
Yes.
For what he brings to the table. So yes, you know, it's a good deal. I understand. So, you know, I respect it.
All right. Now, this is going to be my favorite part of the show, and I want to start off with Coach. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
This is what I did all my homework on. I didn't do homework on the Western Conference.
Yeah, I didn't do that either. Let's start with Coach here. Top 5 shot blockers of all time. I can't wait to see all of yours or to hear.
You're muted. Hold on. You're muted,
I'm muted,
Coach.
You're muted.
Yeah, you're.
Sorry, I thought I unmuted. I thought I unmuted.
Wait, did it finish? Okay,
Okay, my heat is up. Okay, this is a challenging one because do you talk about, you know, blocks, you know, all time on the list? Do you talk about impact to the game? It's not even a tumble number one because I'm gonna be honest with you. Bill Russell is number one. Because now most young people would not know, but one of the things he was great at in terms of blocking shots was he would block it, keep it in bounds, and recover it for his team. He wouldn't just block it out of bounds. He would block it, keep it in the air, and he would get that rebound and his team would go, and literally it's a block steal if you want to say that. Now I looked at the all-time list, and yeah, he's not on the all-time list. Neither is Wilt Chamberlain. I don't even know if they just didn't record blocks back then, which is what I'm thinking, because there's no way you can't have Wilt and Bill Russell on the on-time block list. It's just no way in the way I look at it.
Yeah.
So I have them, in the tops. Mutombo is there also. Yes.
1973-74, they started recording blocks.
Exactly. So you missed out on a large facet of what they did in their careers. You can always put Kareem in there. Here's one though that most people are going to scratch their head, but I watched this man and how he impacted the game through his size and his blocks. Mark Eaton from the Utah Jazz. That man he may not have a lot of high numbers in terms of blocks, but he's on the list, and he's at number, where was he? I just saw him. Where's Mark?
5.
Yeah, he's. I have him at 4. Okay,
3,064.
Mm-hmm. So when you think about that, and the, lock the door. When you think about the impact, his size, what he brought to the game.
Coach, you
No,
froze.
don't worry about it. Sorry. The impact that he brought to the game in terms of that, the shots that he changed, and he wasn't a scorer, and he wasn't overly athletic. He was just big, a legitimate. I mean, he was 7'4", and he was big. People kill what's his name with Minnesota, but this guy had a bigger impact as a defender for the NBA. And I'll always go it's Dikembe, Markey, and Wilt Robinson, and I'm definitely going to, just because he is number one, it's Hakeem.
Yeah,
it is Hakeem. I mean, he just he did his thing, bro. He just did his thing. So, and realistically, Hakeem was only 6'10", if that,
right.
6'11", and he was going up against a lot of legit 7-footers, and he would block their shots. I've seen him block Patrick Ewing shots a lot of times. I've seen him block Shaquille O'Neal shots. So it's like, okay, Hakeem, he blocked everyone's shot. So he even blocked MJ. So the great MJ. So those are like, I can go on, but I'll give you those. So go ahead. Who's next?
All right. Let's go with Nikki.
This is going to be interesting. Just a matter of the order. Like, I'm going to do, it's actually kind of go reverse order. I'm going to start at the top. I'll go with guys like Hakeem. He's, when it comes to shot blockers, he's the main guy that comes to mind. He's kind of the poster boy for NBA defenders for shot blockers. So I'll have to go with him for that one. Of course, you got guys like Bill, Wilt. They were important too. They were the original OGs of shot blocking. Even though it was a different era, stats were looked at differently then. Hey, they were the originals as star players and shot blockers. So those guys got to be on there for that. And then decided to go Dikembe 4 because we all know he was mainly known for his defense, for his ability to just reject it and get it out of there. We saw what he did for us with the Sixers on that 2001 run, along with Iverson. And then you saw, remember, Mitch Blaze, as a team, when we lost him that offseason, we never got back. We didn't get back to that contention level. Even though we were a playoff team, we didn't get back to that level. So don't forget about from a Sixers fan standpoint, his importance is a presence on defense. And with the Denver Nuggets back in his peak, he helped keep them relevant in the 90s. But granted, they didn't get to a finals or win a championship, but without him, what would the Nuggets have been in that era?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to consider his importance in that role.
He's listed as 7 foot. Yes.
Yep. And the last one, I'm kind of like going between. I'll go Mark Eaton 5 because that's a name Coach brought to mind I'd forgotten about. Like I didn't really know about, but some of his stats back up what Coach says. And then I'll throw a few honorable mentions in there. I'll go Kareem, Tim Duncan, David Robinson as some honorable mentions.
All right, Blaze.
Can I have a second?
Good.
They list Hakeem 7 foot, but look at him standing next to Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing is 7 foot. Patrick Ewing isn't 7'1". He isn't 7'2". Patrick Ewing is 7 foot, and Patrick Ewing is taller than Hakeem Olajuwon. So this is saying him next to David Robinson. You know, if you look at those, that's why I say legitimate 7 footers. That's why I said he's 6'10", 6'11", if that. You know, that's just my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong. So, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, Blaze. Let's hear it.
All right. So the first thing I looked up was the top 10 of all time overall blocks. And yes, Wilt and Russell aren't on there because they started recording it in Wilt's last year and before when Russell retired. So it was right after that. So here's the thing. Let's credit those two for making the league consider blocks a stat they need to record.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can't argue this without them. So now I'm looking at from when they recorded stats till now. Here's your top 10 overall. Olajuwon, 3,830. Mutombo, 3,289. Kareem, 3,189. Artis Gilmore, 3,178. Mark Eaton, 3,064. Tim Duncan, 3,020. David Robinson, 2,954. Ewing, 2894. Shaq, 2732. And Tree Rollins, 2542. Now, throw all that out the window, and I'm going to share a screen with you guys. Let's talk about the number that really matters. If they play 20 years, 5 years, 10 years, there's a big difference. Let's talk about blocks per game.
Yep.
So
that's where I was going.
Mark Eaton, 3.5 block. No, this takes out who played 5 years, who played 8, who played 10. And yes, Wilt and Russell aren't on there, and they are probably 1 and 2, arguably. So you got Mark Eaton. Now the top right, that's ABA. Artis Gilmore, Caldwell Jones, Billy Pultz, Irving, Dr. J, and Darnell Hillman. In the NBA, you got Eaton at 3.5, and it's the same. They just rounded up on the right. It's easier to see on the left. Manute Ball, 3 point. He might not have played as long, but he 3.3 per game. He's blocking shots. Olajuwon 3.1, and I have an end game to this, so hang with me. David Robinson 3 a game. Here's a guy, E. Smith. So I saw it. I was like, who's this guy? Looked him up. He played for LA, Buffalo, Cleveland, and Milwaukee from 1971 to 78. They called him the Rejector. So what I love about this podcast and these things, I learned something new. I never claimed to be an expert or know it all, but Elmore Smith obviously was one of the dominant rejectors of the 70s, gaining the name the Rejector. But if you look here, you got Kareem, you got Sean Bradley, which a lot of people, you know, but he only scored a point a game or whatever. Still blocking 2.5 is pretty cool. So if you want me to pick 5, you know, I'll throw Wilt and Russell as 1 because they didn't keep stats, but those got to be on the list. My favorite that blocks shots, Georgetown Patrick Ewing. That got me into basketball as a big man. When he blocked shots in Georgetown, he made you eat that ball. He would throw it into the 5th, 6th, 7th row. So, yes, he did it in the NBA, but Patrick Ewing, I'm getting chills. All the hair on my arm is standing up right now talking about this. Patrick Ewing in Georgetown, and then Iverson later at Georgetown. Now, I know it's similar, but I did change it. That's why I have this G that looks like a Georgetown G tattooed on my leg. he was so dominant. And I just remembered the gray undershirt that Ewing used to wear, how he made wearing undershirts popular, and nobody wanted to go near the paint at Georgetown. And he made Georgetown a national team that everybody talked about. So I got to put Ewing on there, not only for the NBA, but what he did there. Olajuwon, definitely. He has the most of all time, plus over 3 a game. Mark Eaton, coach nailed it about Mark Eaton. Another player that didn't need to score 20 points a game, but he was such a force that teams had to shoot mid-range and long because they didn't want to go in there. And you're probably getting hit pretty hard because back then they didn't take it easy on you in the paint. Where am I going with all this? Look at the top number, 3.5.
Hey, Logan.
3.5. There was a guy this year that averaged 3.6 blocks a game. And that's Wembanyama, his rookie year.
Rios, where are you?
So looking forward, I wish he was here for this. I hope he watches a replay. And good luck on the interview, my brother. So looking forward, if this guy can continue, now we're talking about a rookie.
Do
you think he's going to improve? Could he possibly be the first person to average 4 blocks a game? We've seen him get 10 a lot of times. So, I mean, it's Manute Ball's second.
He's right
number 2, bro, 3.3. But I mean, my point is going forward, like Coach so eloquently put at the beginning, they didn't even keep this stat back when Wilt and Russell. Now we got rookie of the year, could be player of the year down the line, could be the future, could do it all. Could he keep that 3.6 or more average in his career? That's what I'm looking for now. And that's what this brought towards me. Other names we're not talking about, 2 that are still here, Turner and AD. Miles Turner and AD are the current, 2.3 and 2.2. And that just shows you how great Wemby is. The 2 guys that are leading the league are one block less, which is a lot when you're talking blocks. Walton, Larry Nance, Tree Rollins, Theo Ratliff. People forget Theo Ratliff. He was a hell of a blocker. So, I mean, there's a lot of names. Alonzo and that Elmore Smith, man, go look him up. That's crazy. The dude was, I didn't know who the hell he was, but I learned. But keep an eye on Wemby.
Yes, I got a question because great point. Thank you for that, Blaze. Kareem was in the middle of his career when they started to keep the stats. So think about how many more blocks he would have added in because he was there before 70. Was it 72? You said they started
73. Yep, 73, 74.
So he was playing before that. So it's like now I'm not saying he's going to have like 1,000 more, but it would bump him up if you just like with Will and Bill Russell. So.
He played his first 4 seasons. They weren't keeping track of it. He was with the Bucks.
So those are just things that you want to add into the equation when you start thinking about this. Which is why this is a great subject to talk about because when you start documenting certain stats. Sometimes with the great ones, you have to say, well, they didn't keep track of it before, this time frame. So now you can say, okay, let me, add this in. Maybe you want to go through, look at his career games, and then say, what is he average? Then you might say, okay, maybe just subjectively add on, per year average. Then you can say, okay, now I'm going to see that. What is he really, what did Kareem or anyone for that matter average in reference to those stats? So
he was 3189 and Olajuwon was 30. So it's 650 and 4 years. He could have got pretty damn close if not, so yeah, that's a great point. Now, another stat they didn't keep track until 73 was steals. So Mitch, there's one for next week.
Yeah.
Steals is another one. They didn't keep track of it.
And think about that, with Oscar Robertson, Walt Clyde Frazier back in the, in the early part of his career. So, we could go on and on in reference to that. So yeah.
All right. So
All right.
here's my top 5. I have Bill Russell. You know, he's up there. I got Kareem. He's up there. He got Wilt up there. An underrated one. He's more like a 5 because he's not the exact height of everybody. That is Ben Wallace. People are forgetting about Ben Wallace, man, down low. Like, how can you forget this guy? How tall was he? Like, what? 5?
6'9".
Not 5. 6.
5.
Well, I don't know. I'm 5'5". I'm what, like 6'9", 6'10"? Not even that.
Of the modern era, oh yeah.
I'm just saying, with that guy's height, he's a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Like, people were afraid to go into paint when he's there. Not like Rudy Gobert. And here's the funny thing: we're not even talking about Rudy Gobert. I'm just saying, it's like part of this conversation. So, and then another one I'll throw in there. I got to throw Dikembe Mutombo, one of my favorite players of all time. That's a matter of fact, 2001.
No.
Yep, that's why. That's why.
Here's another player that's might not be on any of our, that might not be mentioned other than that, but when he was healthy, Yao Ming on defense.
Where was Yao Ming on this list? I'm on the list right now.
Yeah, Greg, Marcus Camby was on those lists.
Yeah, Marcus Camby is
Yao
well.
Ming 1.89. He's 29th overall. Now, think
Theo
of this.
Ratliff. Theo Ratliff, my old neighbor.
I mentioned him. Now, think of this. We're talking about centers and power forwards, 7-footers and stuff. Who's the best non-big man blocker of all time? And
it's not Ben Simmons.
And his name, non-big man. And if you look at that list in the ABA, Dr. J, and he would swat the piss out of people's balls, out of their shots. And you'd have to put LeBron in there too, the way he blocks people's shots. Here's Embiid averages 1.66. Dr. J averages 1.67 blocks a game. So you got to consider the
Joel,
little guys.
You got competition here, Joel. Come on.
So the smaller guys, because we're talking about 7-footers and stuff, blocking too. Like, how many blocks do they get? They're not going to get as many, but it's more impactful when a little guy blocks your shot too.
Oh my God, it's great. It's great. So actually, Coach, are you still there? All right.
We got a surprise
Yeah,
for
I'm
Coach.
here.
We got a surprise for you, Coach.
Yep.
Mitch put me to task today, so I said for your birthday, so you don't have to.
What's your neighbor? Anthony Ratliff? Yes, Theo Ratliff. I live, and then there was a cul-de-sac behind my house. He was there. Theo Ratliff was there until he got traded. I saw him go away, and I was waving bye. I was like, bye, Theo. I'll see you never.
So yeah, Mitch put me to task today, and I said, you know what? I'm doing a bunch of things. I don't know if I can. And I thought about it's his birthday. Let me take this off your list, and created something for you, Coach.
All right, pick a number, Blaze. 1, 2, or 3.
Just show them all.
You can't when you're sharing the screen. You got to go one at a time.
Put the background first, then, or just the logo.
That's exactly what I was doing. Coach.
So there's your new background for Full Court Press podcast.
Yo, that's hot. I like it. That's cool. Thank you.
Yep, and there's two more. So
the logo itself, just the logo, if you want to use it wherever.
Yep, I was going to show that one next. It takes like so. There we go.
That's just the logo next. I originally had the WNBA behind it, but I like it better right there.
Yep, and
like
one
that.
last thing.
This one's my favorite. This is my favorite
too. Yeah.
You can use this as a poster, advertising for it, or whatever.
Post it anywhere.
I can put you can put music to it and have this as your intro. I really like this poster. It's not as fuzzy in real life, but it's a little fuzzy there for some reason. I really like that. I found the picture and I had to chop it up to get all the ladies below it. And those were the 5 that were on the poster. So I figured. Oh,
I have to say this from my brother NYG. Where's Camila Cardoza at, man? So yeah, no, I like those, all of them, man. I really appreciate that, man.
I had fun doing it.
That's definitely. I look forward to it. Thank you, man.
Of course. And Yep, I'm gonna add the backgrounds when this is done. So wait, are those the ones, Blaze, that are good?
Mm-hmm. Believe so. Yeah,
Okay.
the ones I
For some
emailed you,
reason,
yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, guys, thank you
And
for.
we'll talk off camera though. So go ahead.
I appreciate everyone tuning in. 30th birthday special. Thank you all
Happy
for the
birthday,
birthday
bro.
wishes in the chat. Really, really
You deserve it.
appreciate it. It's just amazing how many people are coming to wish me a happy birthday. I'm just someone who just does this for free.
I got
Like, I'm
a
a
piece
guy
of
who does-
cheesecake. I'm gonna light it on fire. I don't have any candles. I'll put a toothpick and
Not
light it
a
on fire for
cheesecake. I
you.
love cheesecake. No.
That's all I got. I'm gonna eat the cake. Sorry, bro.
All right, go for that. Go for
My
that.
man.
All right, so make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe to everybody. At 8 o'clock, it will be the NFL Pick'ems. The season's back. It will be a Hardcore Sports Network exclusive. I know I'm going to be hosting it. I believe Nikki will be there. Some other
Yes,
people
sir.
from the Hardcore Sports Network will be there. So football season is back. It is back. Games start tomorrow. I am excited. With that, further ado, we'll catch you all next time. And peace, guys.
Where's my